Hi there. Time for another page 100. It was really hard to stop reading this book when I got to page 99, 100 because the intensity hit me from the very first line, and the stress and tension of the book, just the undercurrent of danger and impending violence, I guess, has kept me reading at a frantic pace so I can see how these three teenagers' lives are going to collide in what is a remarkable but definitely high school and probably juniors and seniors age and above book. This female of the species I knew was going to be emotional and rather gut-wrenching when I went into it. I just wasn't quite ready for how brutally honest it actually is. We have three characters in this book, like I said, who are all becoming more and more interconnected as the pages turn. We start out meeting Alex Cross, whose sister Anna was kidnapped, brutally tortured and raped, murdered, and whose body was left in the woods 3 years ago. And when the book opens, she is hunting the killer, and you get the feeling that her hunt was successful. The cold and calculated way in which she talks about hunting and her prey and her observations, and the way in which she exists in but actually outside of her world, is very unsettling because it's an example of, I don't know, human power, human emotion, human rawness, if you will. And it's hard to see that actually, I think, in a woman. And the way she embraces her darker side and her violence. There are some hints that she is still, of course, completely trapped by the grief and the memories of her sister and the injustice of it, and that she does feel caged in by this violence that is growing and boiling inside of her. And yet at the same time, she really is the weapon that we feel like the world needs, a righteous blade in the face of the culture that we have created in America of boys will be boys, rape victims deserve it, sex is everywhere, and it's always the girl's fault. And that's what's bubbling else in the background in this high school story. These are three seniors in high school. There is also PK, who's the daughter of the preacher, and she kind of stands in as the every girl who does what everyone expects, who gets in a little bit of trouble and doesn't really see any harm in the way that the boys talk about girls in the culture in which we live, and yet she feels a certain amount of frustration and anger that is showing up, of course, in the fact that the school's most beautiful and popular girl, Branley, has just apparently seduced away PK's boyfriend, Adam. But instead of being mad at Adam, PK is taking out all of her frustration on Branley, as much as she can take out being a good preacher's daughter. And then there is, I think his name is Jack, the guy main character, who is the all-American top athlete, super popular, can have any girl he wants, is actually sleeping with Branley behind Adam's back, but is drawn to Alex because he just, well, he can't really explain it. It's one of those things that he's not sure why, and yet he can't seem to live without. And the three of these characters are on some type of collision course, and the just undercurrent of over-sexual, alcohol-fueled, drug-induced high school culture is both, like I said earlier, unsettling and honestly portrayed language, situation, everything in this book by Mindy McGinnis is honest and true and powerful. I'm actually looking forward to finishing my review with you here at page 100 and getting right back into it, because there's still quite a few hours of daylight left, and while I don't think I'll actually finish it tonight, I really want to give it a good run, because I really appreciate realistic fiction that is true to the experiences of the characters within it, doesn't shy away from what can be unsettling and difficult, and while it doesn't give the right answers or expect us to agree with the whatever the author's premise might be, the cold hard facts, if you will, speak for themselves, and right now the facts are speaking pretty loudly. So I definitely am going to, and already am, recommending this book for high school audiences who can handle and are open to really powerful realistic fiction, things like Ellen Hopkins and those types of authors. So thank you for joining me for another page 100. I look forward to talking with you next time and sharing another interesting and great read that will be coming down the pike soon. So thanks a lot. Take care.